Please you. Thank you, madam. Okay, so then I assume you would know the at least basics of pedigree chart, what it is and why it is used. So that is just to show the different traits, how they are being passed down the generation in the same family structure. That is what the pedigree chart is about. Then whether it's a male or female, or it is homozygous carrier or heterozygous and so on, all of these things can be used or shown in this pedigree chart with certain symbols. These two things, I assume they were very clear because there is no much complication. Autosomal trait present, the genes or alleles, they are located on the autosome, and sex linked trait, these are the trait which are designated by the alleles or genes which are present on the sex chromosome, that is either X or Y chromosome. Then the autosomal recessive traits. Now, when we talk of the autosomal recessive trait, first thing you have to make it very clear in your head, these are autosomal traits. That means they are present on the chromosome number 1 to 22 and not on the sex chromosome, that is the 23rd pair. And on top of this, these are the recessive traits. That means they are not dominant, right? So if the mutant allele of such traits is recessive, that means there is a normal allele which is already recessive, and when there is a mutant of that normal allele, it will further be recessive, right? So it is always recessive. That what it mean to say. For example, let's say I have a gene which is of blue color of the eye and of the brown color of the eye, and let's say I have blue color of the eye, right? So brown is my recessive trait or recessive allele. Now brown, and we are assuming that this eye color is an autosomal trait. Yeah, so in this eye color, if the brown color is recessive one, so this brown becomes autosomal recessive trait. Now on top of this, let's say this brown color coding protein itself is mutated, right? On top of it, it is recessive, and more than that, it is further mutated. So recessive as well as mutated, so the phenomena or the phenotype is not going to be exhibited as such. It will remain with the dominant allele as such. So that is what it means by the mutant allele of such traits. They are always recessive, and few of the features of this type of traits they include: it is equally found in multiple male and female siblings. Now why they are found in male and female siblings? The reason being, because it is autosomal and it is recessive. So half of the set is coming from mother, half of the set is coming from father. So the possibility of offsprings having this is always equal, whether it is a male child or female child. It is always going to be equal because these are autosomal traits, right? So that is what it means by it is found equally in multiple male and female siblings whose parents are carriers. Now if the parents are carriers, both male as well as female, they are again equally going to be affected. Because of that, if you remember the Punnett square of the monohybrid cross and how the gamete formation happens, in that case this will be more clear. So that way the male and female both are equally affected. Homozygous siblings for defective alleles, but parents are heterozygous. Now this means, mm, uh, like if the homozygous siblings for defective allele, that means if a mutated allele which is recessive is present in one of the individual siblings, but their parents they are heterozygous, that means the parents they had one good copy of the allele and one mutated copy of the allele, and the children, if they get the mutated copy of the allele from both the parent side, then the homozygous siblings for the defective alleles they are formed. So parents are heterozygous, that means they have one good copy and one mutated copy of the allele. Mutated copy of the allele is passing down to the next generation, to the children. And then the homozygous siblings, because both of the alleles they are defective, and they are getting one from each parent. So that's why homozygous sibling for defective allele. Now, most important feature of this autosomal recessive trait is the if men and women who are genetically related are married to each other, they might exhibit this trait. So, for example, uh, like X person gets married to the immediate cousin as in paternal uncle's daughter. Like if it is a guy getting married to the paternal uncle's daughter, or on the maternal sides, again maternal cousin, right? That way, which is the immediate cousin. Now, in these cases, what happens is, like the couple's parent, they are siblings, right? And these siblings, they have gotten their genotype from the same grandparent. Like for this individual, I guess I will draw this. It will be difficult to imagine otherwise. So let me spotlight. Let's say I am talking of the, I will take one name, Raj. Yeah, for example, this Raj marries a cousin whose name is Rani, and these are the immediate cousins. Let's say Raj's father, I will write father one, right? And this father two, father of Rani, father of Raj. These are brothers. That means these two are siblings. So obviously they are both going to have a common grandparent, right? For this Raj or Rani, these are the grandparents. From them, these two brothers were produced, and from these brothers, father one had Raj, father two had Rani, and they gets married to each other for any possible combination of this immediate cousin, right? Either on maternal side or paternal side. Now, because these both father one and father two, they have got their set of genes from grandparents, right? So both of them, they will have the same genetic disorder, if at all they are carried. Now, when these are forming these children, this will be passed down to their next generation. They might have half set because father will marry to mother one, right? M1, and father two will marry some other lady, which is M2. So half of the set with from this father will go to Raj. Half of the set which they had received from grandparent will go to Rani. Now, when they will produce a child, they are mixing again that half of set. So whatever disorder was there from the earlier generation, it is going to get expressed again in the next generation. So that is in F3 generation, I believe. So if this is the parent generation, F1, F2, and this will be F3 generation. So I hope this part is clear. So they got same set of chromosomes. They passed on half set of chromosomes, and this half is again going to get mixed up in the child. Again, that is a possibility. You remember those out of those 4 possibilities, which gametes are using? The possibility of these getting married and having the children is higher than if they marry someone distant. So that way, this explains this genetic disorder being passed on through different generations of the like of the family. So that is what this third point say. If man and woman who are genetically related, they are and are married to each other, they might exhibit this trait. Might, because it is the possibility of the combination, but they will have higher chance than if they are married to the distant relative. So if it is immediate cousin, higher chance; a little distant cousin, lower chance; even little distant cousin, even lower chance; and completely unrelated, then the chance is really next to negligible that they will have this genetic disorder. So that is the autosomal recessive trait. And because they are present on the autosome, that this particular type of expression is there. Next is Y chromosome linked traits. Now, simple thing you can imagine, Y chromosome is only present in males, not present in females. So whatever Y chromosome linked traits are there, they will be only present in males. They cannot be shown in the females at all, right? And all the sons, they are going to get affected because this is the male trait. So if let's say father one, let's say father and mother, they produce a child, right? So father will always child which is male, father will would have transferred that Y chromosome to the male child, right? So that Y chromosome, if it is associated with certain trait, the male child is obviously going to have that particular trait, where none of the daughters will exhibit that trait, which is quite obvious because there are no Y chromosomes in that. I hope this part is clear as well. People, if you have any question, please do stop and ask. Yeah, otherwise I'm just going forward with these topics. Then the next one is X-linked dominant traits. So what we had seen earlier was autosomal recessive traits, then Y chromosome linked traits. Now we are coming to X chromosome linked dominant traits, and then last we will see the X chromosome linked recessive traits. So first the dominant one. Now the encoding gene for such traits is located on the X chromosome, which is a sex-linked chromosomal trait, and it is dominant on top of this. So the mutant allele is dominant on in this trait. That means when the allele which is present normally, if it is mutated, then it shows the dominant phenotype, right? So the features of these X-linked dominant traits are inheritance is vertical and it's found in all the generation. Now, if it is X-linked and dominant trait, so whether it is a male or it is a female, both of them they have X chromosome. On top of this, the trait is dominant. So even if it is a heterozygous individual, it will still have one copy of the trait which is dominant, and it is going to express. So that is when it says inheritance is vertical. That means along the hierarchy of the family or family tree, it will be found in all the generation, and it will always be there because both the copies of the X-linked dominant trait will have this particular either of the X chromosome is going to go on to the next generation, and they will always have this X-linked dominant trait. Now, if the female is affected, half of her sons are also affected. Now, female is affected in the sense, if female has both the chromosomes which are dominant, that is homozygous dominant, then obviously the son that is going to be produced, Y chromosome is coming from the male. Okay, this I will show you again with the help of the diagram on the board because this will be difficult. Female is affected.
Sachin,
Yes.
so what's this word HEMI zygous?
I will come to that. We are yet to see that. Yeah. So, let's say, for example, we have a normal male and the point set affected female. That means it is XX, that is female. So this is male. This is female. Now, for simplicity, affected female, we are writing A. Both the alleles, they are present. Both of them, they are dominant. So that is a homozygous dominant. In this case, because it is X chromosome linked, it is X-linked dominant trait. So both of these alleles are present. So this female is affected mother, and this is the normal father. So when the possibility of the gametes formation happens, we have X, we have Y, and then we have XA, and we have another X. Right? Now again, different possible combination. This gamete can fuse with this. This gamete can also fuse with this. Then it will form XA and XXA. This gamete can fuse with this, and this gamete can also fuse with this. That is XAY and XAY. So this is the possibility of the child. Now, when these daughters are born, they are not affected, but they are carrying. Mother was affected, that is both dominant genes were present. But in daughters, otherwise the daughters would have been carrier. But remember, this A stands for dominant allele of the X chromosome linked to it. So if it is dominant, that means this allele will get expressed. Same here, this allele will get expressed. So this female, even though they have, or this female child, even though they have only one set of affected allele, they will still express this particular phenotype which was expressed by the mother. And in case of male, because they have only one set of X chromosome which is affected, they are also going to show the effect in general. So that is how the generation, or that is how the transfer of this trait happens. Now, in another scenario, so I hope this is clear. I'm just clearing this out. Now, in another scenario, what we have is we have one dominant and one normal, that is heterozygous female. Earlier it was homozygous female. Now, in this case, what we get is this, correct? So same thing remains. XY will be X and Y. XA one gamete and normal X as another gamete. Possibility of combination here is XA, then X without any, that is this gamete. Then Y will combine with XA, Y and XY. So this female has a dominant allele, so it is going to show the trait, whatever that trait is, whether it's a genetic disorder, whether it's some particular trait of eye color, hair color, whatever it is. We are calling affected does not mean she is diseased, can be diseased, but affected means exhibiting the phenotype of this dominant allele. So affected female, she will exhibit the phenotype. This is a case of affected daughter because she has dominant allele. This will be normal daughter. She will not exhibit any phenotype because she doesn't have XA. This will be son which is affected because it has dominant allele, and this will be the normal son. So based on the possible combinations of these genetic traits or alleles, the how the generation goes on, that will be decided. Going back here, so that is the, if female is affected, and we have seen affected in both ways, homozygous and heterozygous, then how these half of the sons are also affected, that is what is being shown here. If the male is affected, now if we just reverse the situation, the daughters will be affected but no sons will be affected. Why? Because it is X-linked chromosome, and female is in this case is having normal XX and the male is having XAY. So XA will go to, the possibility of having that male to male transmission is almost zero. I hope this is clear. Otherwise, I can draw this on the board as well and quickly show it to you.
So
Yes.
this is basically cross linked, right? So if it happens, if it's in the female, it affects the sons, and if it's in the male, it affects the daughter. So that's basically cross linked.
Not really true. The reason being depends on which gametes are going to the next generation. So you cannot say that like cross-linked by, you mean from male it goes to the female child and from female it goes to the male child. That's what you mean, right?
Yeah, right.
But that is not the case. If you have looked at this diagram, only the female was affected and both one male and one female child are affected. It was not specific to the only other gender or opposite gender. Yeah, so it depends on what you are referring to. So in the third point, if the male is affected, that is XAY crossed with XX, that is the female, you will have all the daughters that which are affected, because the X chromosome which is coming from male, or rather the only affected allele which is present in the male, will go to the next generation, and the other X from the female. And because it is dominant, even if it is one XA present, it will always show the phenotype. So that way, but no male to male transition, because XA is not present with female. I guess I should show it to you this also on the board, so it is more clear. What was the point? Point is, a male is affected and the female is normal. So again, in this case, I will just change it here. The female is normal, right? And male is affected, right? Affected male, again remember this is dominant, right? So even in case of male, it will not happen, because there is only one X chromosome. If it is present there, it is going to express it. Female or the mother is normal, so it will produce gametes XA, Y and XX. So the possibility of combination is XA and X, XA and X, then XA and another X, right? Then XY and another XY. So means in this case, when the male is affected, the males in the same generation of the family, not same generation, in the across the generation of the family, will never be affected, because this XA can only go to female and it doesn't go to male, because male will provide XY gamete and from female it will have the X gamete. Females are always affected. Males, they are never affected when there is affected male with the dominant allele which is X-linked. Okay, I hope this part is clear to everyone. Again, the go back. Yeah. So that is, sorry. So that is the X-linked dominant trait. Now, X-linked recessive trait. This was dominant one. If it is recessive, it is going to be exactly opposite, because it is not going to always show the phenotype. So for example, in the same case which I have drawn on the board, if XA is the recessive one, it will not affect even if it is present or not present, especially in female, right? So this is expressed only by homozygous female. That means both the alleles of that X-linked character has to be present in that female. So that is when she is homozygous, and then only it will be shown. But the homozygous or hemizygous males, they will not show it. Now, what is this hemizygous? Coming to the question which Janvi asked, we usually in females we have XX, which can be homozygous or heterozygous. That means they are carrying the same allele in both the X chromosome, or they are carrying different alleles. That is the on the both chromosome, that is heterozygous. So if it is same, we call homozygous. If it is different, that is heterozygous. But in male, we have only one chromosome, that is one X and one Y. So if they are not same in terms of the basic chromosome itself, how can we call it homozygous or heterozygous? And that's when we call them hemizygous. That is only half of the X chromosome is present there than the original female chromosomal structure. So that is why we call it hemizygous. That is half of the X chromosome. So I hope Janvi, you heard this. Now, so that is the hemizygous. So this trait, X-linked recessive traits, will be only expressed by the homozygous female, which are carrying both the recessive allele of X-linked chromosome, and the homozygous or hemizygous males, they will not show any of these traits. Now, if the female is the carrier, about half of the sons are affected. Now, so the possibilities, let's say she will form two sons, the female, let's say Y chromosome can fuse with the one of the X from female and the other X from the female. So the possibility is having two sons. Out of these two sons, then only one of the male or one of the sons, they are affected, because the female is the carrier. And if the female is homozygous, then 50% of daughters and 100% of the sons, they are affected. Again, in case of male, one of the affected allele from this homozygous mother will go to the son. So obviously, and only one copy is there, so it is going to show the phenotype. So 100% of the sons will be affected, and only 50% of the daughters are affected. Again, I hope you are able to visualize this. Going back to the board, if it is required, you will let me know, but I'm not drawing this again on the board. So that is the combination of female, which is homozygous, and what happens to the next generation. And that is why male population is most affected with this X-linked recessive trait. The example is color blindness. Usually males, they have common disease of this or disorder of color blindness than female, and the reason being because it is X-linked recessive trait. We will see this in a few of the examples. I will skip this, we have discussed it. Okay, so before we go into this, how does this X-linked recessive inheritance work? You already know what color blindness is. The individuals, they are not able to differentiate between red and green color due to the certain changes in the retinal protein structure. Yeah, retina, it absorbs certain light, it gives out certain wavelength which is perceived by the brain. But because this recessive allele is present, which is not functioning properly, the certain retinal proteins, they are changed, so they are not able to differentiate between red and green color, and that is how the color blindness is caused. Hemophilia is nothing but it is the blood clotting problem. So when the blood is whenever there is an injury or a bleeding starts to happen, in normal individuals, the blood starts clotting within 1 minute. But in these hemophilic philiac individuals, the blood does not clot and it goes to complete bleeding, and then there is a chance of death and so on. So that is again a genetic disorder, and it is because of the X-linked recessive trait. Yeah. So now in this case, yeah, for example, this is the case which is X-linked recessive allele. So let's say color blindness is X-linked, means it is X-linked, not, we don't have to assume it. It is X-linked recessive allele which is carried by the mother. So mother is unaffected because she has one normal chromosome and one allele which is recessive. That is, for this red is recessive, so it is not going to express, but the blue is dominant one. So that is, and that is normal color blindness, normal gene for the eyesight or color sight. So that way it will get expressed. So mother is unaffected as such, but she is the carrier. Mother is unaffected carrier, and father is normal father, that is unaffected father, which has this dominant allele and the Y chromosome. Now, based on the possibility of the combination, whichever son or daughter is being formed, then what are the possible genotypes that we'll see. So let's say this for the time being, I will refer to this as X blue and red blue. Yeah. So let's say this X blue, which is the dominant allele, is passed on to next generation, right? And in this first case, that is the Y being passed on to this son, and the normal X, which is blue X, being passed down to this son. So normal X and Y from the male, that's when we have unaffected son. In the next scenario, the normal X, and that is the blue X from the male and the blue X from the female, they are being passed down to this unaffected daughter. So the this two, both of them, they will have no effect even though mother is unaffected and carrier mother. Now the problem comes here when the Y chromosome from the male and the red X chromosome from the female is transferred. Now this male or this son has only one X chromosome, that too it is affected. Though it is recessive, it has only one X chromosome, so it will get expressed and this particular son will be colorblind, right? Even though it is recessive, there is only one X chromosome. So this X chromosome has to do its function, and in that case, it will express the colorblind gene, leading to the son being colorblind. And in case of female, when this red X, that is the recessive allele from the female, fuses with the normal allele, that is blue X in this female. That's why we have one blue, one red copy, which is again exactly same genotype, like unaffected carrier mother, unaffected carrier daughter. So this girl child will be a carrier, but she will not exhibit the phenotype. So this way you can carry out. Let's say if you are color blind, you can go back. What would be the possible combination? Let's say you are color blind and you know your mother is color blind or father is color blind. In any of these combinations, you can identify the total genotype and carry out what will be the future generation and so on. So that way you can always figure out. But if the male is color blind, that means they only have this possible combination, that is X mutated or recessive allele, which is red and the Y chromosome. I hope this part is clear to all. Does anyone have any question here? Okay, if not, then I guess we are moving to the last part of this chapter. That is, in case of X-linked chromosome, we are just going to see what exactly happens in other animals as well, which I had mentioned this earlier sometime, that not all the animal species or even insect species, they have this XX and XY chromosome, XX for female and XY chromosome for males. In some of these species, there is only double X, that is female, and single X, that is male. They don't have Y chromosome. So depends on which species we are talking about. In this case, we are going to specifically see an example which has similar genetic makeup like human, that is XX for female and XY for male, and that is a fruit fly which is called as Drosophila. Drosophila is actually very well studied, genetically very well studied microorganism, not microorganism, the organism, and because it's genetically evolution wise, it is relatively closer compared to the other species, and that's why it has been very well studied. You can Google out the Drosophila genetics experiment, you will find thousands of them. So that is the same genetic makeup like humans. Now, when the eye color of these, like in the Drosophila, there is the eye color gene which is coding either white or the red color of the eye. Now, and it is found on the X chromosome. So there is a gene which is coding the color of the eye, and it is on X chromosome. So it is going to show the X-linked trait, X chromosome or sex chromosome linked trait. Now, a female fly will have two copies of this gene, whether either a red copy or a white copy, or both white or both red. So that depends on what is the genetic makeup. Now, if the gene comes in two different allele, that is X capital W, that is dominant, will have normal red eyes, and X small w or small, the smaller caps, that will be a recessive allele or recessive gene which has white eyes. What you need to remember is, in this case, which we are going to see further, is the capital W is the dominant one which has red color of the eyes, and the small w is the recessive one which is going to have white eyes. So the possibility of the females having these different alleles if both are dominant ones. So that is both will be this individual female will be having red eyes. If both are recessive allele, that means both alleles they are carrying or coding for the white eyes, this female will be having white eyes. And when it is heterozygous, one with dominant and one with recessive, that is capital W and small w, then it is going to obviously express the dominant phenotype, which is capital W, that is red eyes. Now, when we do a different possibility of the combination in these cases, what we get at the end is, let's say there is a cross where a male, here is the male symbol, here is the female symbol, a male which is having red eyes, that is the dominant allele, is crossed with a female which has both recessive allele, that is homozygous recessive, right? Now the possibility of offspring from this is X capital W forming with X small w. In one of the case, you will have this individual female with red eyes, then next X capital W fusing with the other X small w of the female, forming the female child again with red eyes, because there is always this dominant allele present, so it will exhibit red eye color. Then this Y chromosome fusing with one of the XW, that is this one X small w with Y, will have white eyes because it doesn't have dominant allele, so it will express the white color from the recessive allele. And this Y forming the other combining with the other X small w chromosome, it will form the again white eyes because it doesn't have dominant allele. So if you see, all male offspring will have white eyes and all the female offspring will have red eyes, provided if this is the parent genotype, that is male is dominant, carrying the dominant X-linked gene, and female is homozygous recessive for that particular allele. So in that case, this is the possible combination. So something similar as an exercise we are going to do, and that I'm going to give you as a homework. I'm not going to read out these things because this we have already discussed. So there is a case of hemophilia, which is again X-linked recessive phenotype. That means if it is present, it will affect the individual and so on. But in this case, if you want to simplify it, you can forget the example of hemophilia, and let's say capital H stands for tall height and the small h stands for short height. Yeah. So this is the dominant allele which codes for the tall height, and this is the allele which codes for the short height, which is recessive allele, small h, capital H is dominant allele. Now, if you look at the phenotype now, phenotype is what these combinations will exhibit. X small hy, this individual will be short because it has recessive allele. This is again a short heighted individual, that is a male. This will be tall male because it has dominant allele. This will again be a short male. This female has both. She has heterozygous genotype, but she will always express the dominant one, that is she will be tall. In this case, both are recessive allele, homozygous recessive. She will be short. This lady, third case, will again be short, and this will be a tall lady, that is both are dominant. Now, when you cross affected father, affected in the sense because it has recessive allele, is with the carrier mother, that is with the small one of the small h, that is affected allele, what will be the offspring? You can possibly do this using Punnett square, and same you do with these all three other combination, and write down the phenotype, what you are getting. If you have understood the case of hemophilia, you can do it for hemophilia, and what will be the phenotype of it. Like this genotype will not matter whether you take whatever character for this, right? Whether you take it for hemophilia or whether you take it for small height or height of the person, it doesn't matter. What is most important is what are the possible combinations when you take affected father, affected mother, normal father, normal mother, or carrier mother, right? All these possible combinations. What are the possible output in terms of offspring that you will do as a homework in the Punnett square form and just write the phenotype. So I hope this part is clear what you have to do. If you have any questions, you can ask right now. 21. And
Sir,
So could you just repeat our homework?
sorry,
Could you just repeat our homework?
no, I didn't get it. Did
Could you
you?
repeat the homework?
So I am saying you have to put this process in the Punnett square form and identify the offspring with their phenotypes.
Okay. So you'll give the relevant data when you make the assignment, right?
I'm just going to copy paste this part. I'm not writing anything else because I already explained this here. Okay, so then just a small phenomena which is called as codominance and which is also being exhibited in the blood types that we have. I have already explained what codominance is when both the alleles are being dominant and then the phenotype which is being expressed is not actually how a dominant phenotype looks like, but it is something different, like either a blended or it is the average of the traits. So for example, again, just a quick example of this codominance. Let's say my father has blue eyes and mother has brown eyes and I have blue eyes, right? No, is that the, yeah, correct. That's a correct example. So if father has blue eyes, mother has brown eyes, and I have not blue, but I have, let's say, some random color of the eye. Let's say I have gray eyes, right? So ideally what you would have expected is either I have blue eyes from my father or I have brown eyes from my mother, but that is not the phenotype which is being exhibited in me. It's rather the combination of these two or average of these two phenotypes which are being passed down from my parents to me, right? So in that case, it is also not that the combination of blue and brown will become and I will have purple eyes. That is the color combination, but that is not the case with the genotype and the phenotypes in human. It is usually the protein based interaction. So based on the what are the protein interaction for the blue allele of the eye color with the brown allele of the eye color from father and mother respectively, whatever the protein interaction combination happens will be passed on to me, and then I will exhibit that color. Not necessarily I need to have blue or brown from my father or mother. So that is what is codominance, and this is something very well explained in terms of our blood groups. So we know we have blood groups called A, B, AB, and O. These are the four major blood groups. Forget about the Rh positive and Rh negative for the time being. But these are the four blood groups that we have. So if A antigen is present on the RBCs, it is a type A blood group. If it is B antigen present on the blood group, that is type B blood group. If there is no antigen present on the red blood cell, it is O blood group. And if both are present, that is A as well as B, it is AB blood group. So that way, this is what is the example of codominance. That is both the antigens or both the traits, they are being present in one of the like in the offspring. And this is the example of incomplete dominance. Though these alleles are present, but they are not being expressed, even though they are from one of the set of the parent, from one of the parent, then still also it is not going to get expressed. So that is the O blood group. So these are the possible combination based on the antigen, and AB is specific example of the codominance. So that's what I wanted to let you know here. Last part of this whole thing is actually the sex determination. I don't know, I guess Yati had asked this question or I don't know, someone else, I don't remember who was it. How are these mixed gender child are formed? That is possibility of having transgender or intersex children, right? So that is totally dependent on this small piece of gene which is called as SRY gene. This refers to sex determining region of Y. That is what is SRY, sex determining region of Y chromosome. So that is the gene which will decide the sex of the child. So if it is present, it will be a male child. If it is not present, or if that Y is not present, it will be obviously female child. But there is a twist. So XX embryo don't have SRY gene, so they will develop female. XY embryo, they have SRY, so they will develop as male. But the twist is, so let's say during the meiosis process, you remember that prophase 1, where the genes they overlap with each other, cross over, and they form this homologous pair of chromosome which are crossed over. If you remember the diagram very clearly, we had a blue chromosome and red chromosome, and the part of blue chromosome is shifted to red, and part of red chromosome is shifted to blue. So that was the exchange process, and that's when we had said there is lot of variation is coming because of this crossing over of the chromosome during meiosis process. So let's say that crossing over is happening between X and Y chromosome during the gamete formation process. That is when the sperms are being formed. It will ideally have half of the sperms will have X chromosome, half of the sperms will have Y chromosome, and but before they are formed, usually this Y chromosome and X chromosome they undergo the meiosis process. That is when the crossing over happens. Now in this crossing over, let's say from Y chromosome, this SRY gene gets transferred to X chromosome, right? So Y chromosome will have this SRY gene which is getting transferred to X chromosome during this crossing over process of meiosis, and then the gametes are formed. So the gametes that we are getting is X chromosome with SRY and Y chromosome without SRY gene. Now, if this Y chromosome is fusing with the female gamete, that is the ova, it will not be like chromosomally, it will be a male embryo, but that will develop as a female because it is actually lacking the SRY gene. On the contrary, if that X chromosome with SRY gene is fusing with the another X of the female, that will form XX, that is chromosomally a female, but because one of the X chromosome has SRY gene, the child will develop as a male. So that is what we call as chromosomal or rather genotype to phenotype paradox, right? Genotype is something else, but phenotype is showing something else, right? So chromosomally, when that SRY gene is present in the female embryo, it will develop as a male child. And if the Y chromosome is lacking the SRY gene, it will chromosomally it will be a male embryo, but it will develop as a female child. So in one of these cases, you have the possibility of that transgender child. Okay. With this, if you want to read more about this, there are a few references that I have kept at the bottom of this slide. And with this, I say this chapter is over.